This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Well, good morning and welcome to Grow Omaha. We're Omaha's only show dedicated to making this city an even bigger and better place. I'd like to thank our sponsors this morning, Cheer Athletic, the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym, and Dingman's Collision Center. So if you're thinking to yourself, that's not Trenton Magid and that is not Jeff Beals, you would be correct. A couple weeks ago, Grow Omaha celebrated its 21st anniversary on the air here in Omaha. And only the second time in 21 years, we have two substitute co-hosts today. So I'm Brad Williams. You recognize me. I'm on the show quite a bit, regular fill-in co-host and also a frequent contributor on the different projects Grow Omaha does. I'm with E&A Consulting Group, civil engineering firm here in Omaha. I work on the planning team, so if you ever have a project you want to get going and need someone to bounce some ideas off of, give us a call. I'm also the owner of Brad Williams Photography. I do a lot of Omaha type photos, cityscapes, aerial photos around Omaha, sports, stuff like that. All things that interest me. Well, my co-host today is someone you've heard on these airwaves before, Bill Barstow. Bill Barstow is the owner of ACX Cinemas and also Backlot Pizza, amongst other businesses here around town. Bill, welcome back to Grow Omaha.
It's great to be here. Always enjoy listening, so it's always fun to participate every now and then.
And every time you're on, you always have some great, interesting perspectives on things. So I was really excited when you took me up on the offer to come on the show again today.
We certainly have opinions. They're not always right, but there's we got a lot of things going on in Omaha, and a lot of employees and families and all that kind of stuff. So we love talking all things Omaha.
Yeah, well, a lot of years in business, you get a good opinion about how things actually work. So we have a new restaurant review this week. Chris Corey, our restaurant reviewer, visited the Legacy Chop House, which is out in the Legacy Shopping Center, 168th and Center. Chris says the Legacy Chop House is a modern steakhouse concept with inspired cocktails and darn good steak. So if you want to read Chris's review, head to growomaha.com and click on reviews. And under reviews, there's one that says eats. He also reviews movies. So
he had a great article on that. Had a chance to visit a couple of times, and they're doing a great job, and he had a great article.
He loves, we've got to know him over the last few years, and he can not only review food, but he's also a pretty good cook too. So it's a
good combo.
Yeah, great combo. So let's get into our economic development news of the week, sponsored by Eagle Mortgage. Eagle Mortgage has been around for 30 years. They're a licensed mortgage broker serving Nebraska and Iowa. They give free consultations, pre-approval, conventional, VHA, FHA. And they're located on the corner of 114th and Davenport, just south of Dodge, or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. So a major construction project has kicked off in downtown Omaha. The CHI Health Center, the Convention Center expansion really got underway in the last couple of weeks. If you go around to the east side of the CHI Health Center, you'll see them deconstructing the old staircases, that the kind of emergency exits from the upstairs, the banquet or the ballroom floor and the meeting space. It's kind of interesting to see because they had to still have ways to get people out of the building. So they built kind of some scaffolding and temporary stairs and temporary walkways. So it's cool to see that. That project has kind of been in the works for a number of years, or been coming. People have requested more space, more meeting rooms, more breakout rooms, and so Omaha voters approved a $146 million bond last fall to increase it. The expansion will add 94,000 square feet, 25 meeting rooms, access to the third and fourth floors, additional common space, restrooms, and then hopefully in the end will lure some more attractive conventions.
Just a crown jewel. I mean, if you think back to when that wasn't there and how that brought and how that whole area is just the jumpstart of economic development down there is amazing. Just love bringing people. Whenever we bring people into town, I love to bring them through that area just to see how stunning it is.
The surprising thing to me, can you believe that building is 21 years old already?
Well, that's because we're all getting really old.
Well,
We discuss that a lot. But It is crazy to believe, but some of the iconic things that have happened there, and if you're out and about quite a bit, you get to experience a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's certainly a blast.
Right next door to the CHI, the Baby Bob, the connection to the main Bob Carey pedestrian bridge is nearly complete. We had a photo on the Omaha website this week. Upon viewing the bridge, it looks like it's all done. So Jeff Beals reached out to the mayor's office to ask how come the bridge is not open if it looks done. And apparently they are still waiting on one more part. And once the part gets in and gets installed, then the bridge can be open. So
anybody that's done construction or been involved in projects knows how those things happen.
Yeah.
So
just one little piece can hold up such a large project. So, and that's going to be a great boost to the area. That basically going to connect the pedestrian bridge right to the center field exit of the ballpark. So people in between games, before and after games, will be able to head over to the riverfront and enjoy that, the parks and the museum and whatnot. Next project on the list is the Mutual of Omaha Tower. Currently, it is 28 stories tall, which means it's already 2/3 of the way to the top. The exterior finishes are going up on the bottom floor already, and then the steel structure for the main office part of the tower should be going up at the end of March or the beginning of April.
Another crazy thing to watch, and again, you bring people into Omaha and you drive them down that corridor and all the construction that's going on in the cranes, and to watch the progress. You guys do a great job of showing us that progress, and I think of Roger Humphreys as somebody that's the Omaha Press Club quite a bit, and Roger will take pictures from their windows and showing progress, and always enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, anyone that seems to have any interest in city growth and development seems to always post pictures of it. So.
Well, it's hometown pride, right?
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
we all want to see growth. We want to see other people look at us in a different way, and that's going to be another one of those projects that we all get to point to.
A major component of the Omaha streetcar project will be starting next week. On February 3rd, the Harney Street Bridge over Interstate 480 will be closed for demolition and reconstruction. People have asked why we're tearing down a perfectly good bridge, but these two bridges over I-480 are nearing the end of their lifespan anyway, so it's a good time to actually get them replaced and get the streetcar tracks added. I know as a business owner on the streetcar line, you're kind of looking forward to getting a new mode of transportation for you.
We are. We've got Site One Brewing at 25th and Farnham, and I'm sort of an eternal optimist. So when somebody will present and it's like, oh my gosh, look what's coming, the construction project, we just smile and say it's opportunity. Put your head down when it's not always the way you want it, but you know what the finished product's going to be, and I think we're really excited just to be, frankly, one of the stops on the line, and so we're looking forward to that.
Finally, the Omaha City Council approved a $2.47 million contribution to the infrastructure improvements in the Builders District in North Downtown. This will be used to relocate several sewer lines, street pavement, sidewalks, curb ramps, all related to a new city-owned parking garage at 1515 California Street that will be built by the developer. Another great, that North Downtown, the Builders District, that whole area north of the ballpark and now west of the ballpark is really just taken off.
We've got all kinds of cool spots that you can start finding your way into. I did not know that 25th and Farnham is going to be referred to as Farnham Hill.
Yeah.
Maybe it was previously, and again, I like to be the dumb guy in the room, so when I found that, I thought it was pretty cool, and I think we're looking forward to all these little spots that pick up and destination places for people as they move around a city that's becoming quite dynamic.
The Farnham Hill thing, I remember that when it first came out, but it doesn't seem like, it either didn't gain traction or just the neighborhood isn't pushing it, or
feels early, right?
Yeah.
We're just starting to poke around it, so we're new to the area, but I think it just feels a little early, but it also feels like something's happening.
Yeah.
And certainly when the streetcar comes through, that could be impetus for extending that zone, I guess you could say further east or further west, depending on where you're coming from.
Definitely a lot of opportunity in that area. Well, we're going to take a break. When we return, we're going to be talking to Tiffany Regan from the Omaha Parks Foundation. We'll be back shortly on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Hey, it's Alec Baldwin. This season on my podcast, Here's the Thing, I speak with musician, photographer, and
No, that was great.
Julian Lennon. photography
Sitting here like,
really
I
does
can't drink
allow
enough water.
you to have empathy for people on the other side of the world that you'll never ever meet, but you'll at least have some
Sneak behind you real fast.
Do you have enough space?
Oh, yeah.
Still going?
I just need to make sure this is recording and
#1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart.
Time to focus on what really matters.
Bill, are you craning your neck like this to try to talk?
Using the latest technologies with our very own mobile UL-listed monitoring center. Whether it's security, video,
Nope,
fire,
you're fine.
carbon
You're
monoxide,
best I
temperature,
can.
we have you protected.
Is that more comfortable for you?
SEI's trusted advisors deliver 24/7 365 support. Let SEI help manage your business with cloud-based video, access control, and security all in one app. Visit SEIsecurity.com to learn more or to set up a free consultation.
At Nebraska
Put 'em on
Cancer
large
Specialists,
canvases.
we believe in being where you need us. That's why
always
we're
enjoy it.
serving
Need
patients.
tissue? You all right?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Nebraska
Yeah, we
Cancer
tried
Need to
finding
drink more
ones that
water.
weren't necessarily
That's all right.
common that you would see
Together,
that
we're
often.
strong
Yeah,
for
so,
Just relax a little bit. You're just talking to.
yeah.
was I talking a little fast?
He's like, oh,
Well, it was like you were breathing like, and it's okay. Just
so much, and especially now.
Just relax.
For 20 years straight. So
Yeah.
trust the name you know. Dan.
They were struggling to take
Not trying to coach you or anything. Just trying to help
In the
you.
plaza.
You know, I've been doing this since 2011, but it's still a different,
That pro bono for us.
totally different,
They go to the greenhouse and they get the flowers and then they.
Whatever you wanna call it.
Different ball game.
yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
They should respect it, that's for sure. A lot of people don't realize everything that goes into it sometimes.
People would stop and
Preparation,
which is nice,
time.
but just living in the
Time
neighborhood,
prep, all that stuff.
Trying. But there's only, I think, 6 full-time staffers on the greenhouse for all the parks and boulevards. And they have part-time, it's hard to hire the part-time.
So you got a big job.
Oh, yeah. Yes, yes.
Bill, I
yes.
don't know how you want to. These are kind of the generic questions I had for Tiffany. I just going to introduce her, have her give her a quick overview of the Parks Foundation, and we just highlighted a couple of projects they've wrapped up that they're really proud of, what's going on now, and then plans for the future, and then ask how people can get involved and help out.
See if I can say something.
But if you have a better question,
Yeah, I mean, I can talk to these, so feel free.
So the next break will be about 29 or 30, but that's all right.
Throwing your laptop in his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds. Start for free and get your guaranteed
All right, 30 seconds.
tax layer. File.
And then when we get to close to the end of the segment, just remember to say you're listening to Grow Omaha.
Not what I.
Then you do the call after that.
Investment most of us ever make.
All righty, here we go. You're doing fine.
Just don't.
It's all good.
Contact Holly and her
All right, 15 seconds.
Right here in Omaha at Eagle Mortgage for your mortgage or refinance and let them beat the national lenders on rates and service. Eagle Mortgage online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. NMLS number
right, here we go.
2376.
This is Nebraska's news, weather, and traffic station. News Radio 1110 KFAB and KFAB.com and iHeartRadio.
And welcome back to Grow Omaha, Omaha's only show dedicated to the growth and development of your fine city. We want to thank our sponsors again this morning for sponsoring this show. Cheer Athletics, Omaha's the nation's number one all-star cheer gym. If you have a child interested in getting into competitive cheer, caomaha.com is their website. And we're also sponsored by Demons Collision Center. I'm joined by Bill Barstow this morning, and in our first interview segment today, we have Tiffany Regan, Omaha Parks Foundation. Tiffany, welcome to your Omaha.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you give people a quick overview of what the Omaha Parks Foundation does? Because it's, Omaha has the Omaha Parks Department, which kind of takes care and maintains the parks. But what's the Omaha Parks Foundation do?
The Omaha Parks Foundation is the 501c3, like the fundraising partner to the city of Omaha. We are separate, but we seek out public-private cooperation and partnerships to improve and enhance the city above what the tax dollars would fund. And Omaha is a large city with 256 parks, over 11,000 acres, and honestly just kind of trying to do their best with what they have. And we just look for opportunities to improve everything from the pools to the golf courses to the trails, into opportunities for people to enjoy the outdoors.
Awesome. And then the community centers involved in that too?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Trap and skeet. You've got natural surface trails, camps, indoor rec centers, pickleball, tennis, even bus benches fall under the park's jurisdiction.
What are some recently completed projects you have that you're kind of proud of and like to show off?
So I've been with the foundation almost 4 years now, and we have seen a very positive response from the community wanting to support the parks because they are so vital. We've been able to partner with some private either foundations or businesses or individuals to help complete the North Omaha Trail down the northeast quadrant. We recently finished Eagle Plaza at Memorial Park as part of their 75th. We're currently almost to the finish line with Gallagher Park, and that was a $1.3 million renovation, new playground, new spray ground. We restored the fountain, even the guts of it, because a lot of that piping was so old, and a new plaza. So that was really exciting, and that should be operational, the full park, by June. Holiday Lights Festival. This last year, we were the 501c3 partner to the city and the riverfront in doing the Holiday Lights Festival. And then also trees. Our tree canopy is so important, and with the storms, we've been able to plant hundreds of trees with maintenance for the next year or so to make sure that they survive. So that's what we've done the last couple of years, and we have a good path ahead of us as well.
I think the quality of life when it comes to developing anything in Omaha, and sometimes maybe, I don't know if everybody really pays attention to how important all these parks and these public spaces are, and it's really gratifying to hear the work you guys are doing is pretty amazing. As you're listing all those projects, I'm kind of wondering how you sleep.
We are a small but mighty group, and it's really, we've got a terrific team. We just hired our third person, and we're just passionate about the work. We operate very lean because we want to see the funds go back into the park because, as you said, the park system is vital. It is a boost to not only environmental, social connectivity, physical and mental health, economic. Like if you have a good park, chances are the houses around it are better maintained. Just the resale values are higher if you've got a good park. So it really touches every age and every background and so many things besides health and economy. And also attracting new talent to Omaha. That's one of the things people are looking at when they come to get a job is the park system. And so if we have a strong park system, it makes our city more attractive.
Yeah, you said that very, very well.
It's interesting too. I forget what you said. 246 parks.
256 parks.
256 parks, and Omaha has some real hidden gems too that I don't think a lot of people know about. And I know when our kids were littler, we were looking for a city pool that was perfect for little kids. And you mentioned Gallagher Park, and our kids love Gallagher Park. Then that zero entry splash area in the nest, they've gotten a little bigger. They can move into the deeper area. There's a lot of different parks for a lot of different people.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also neat opportunities. So, for instance, I know your son plays hockey, and a couple of years ago, the city has a wish list of things that they'd like to improve for the community's use, but it's just not in their budget. And so we were able to partner with Corporal Dagan Page's family and his foundation to replace the scoreboard at Moto McLean in honor of Dagan. And so that, just these little things also, you just make these connections, and they mean so much, and his legacy lives on at Moto, where he used to like to play hockey, and it really makes it rewarding. And the whole community benefits also.
That's great.
No kidding.
What do you have going on now? What kind of new projects are you working on?
So Benson Community Center is getting a total revamp, which is wonderful because it's an old 100-plus-year-old firehouse, and it has gotten tired, for lack of a better word. So we've partnered with the Bay and Rabble Mill out of Lincoln and another philanthropist here in town to renovate the exterior and interior and bring programming back to that space. And it is turning out beautifully. So that's exciting, and that also complements Gallagher in that Benson area. We're also involved with the Memorial Park concert every year. And so we just had our kickoff for planning the Memorial Park concert and fireworks for 25.
And you're going to announce the band right now?
No, I don't even have a date, but okay. As soon as I do. So that's really fun to be a part of because that's another huge community event in one of our most beautiful sacred parks, Memorial Park. We have a new pickleball complex going in at Church Park off of 50th and C. Kuntz Playground, 19th and Pinckney. We have a very generous supporter that would like to put a new playground in. That one's almost 30 years old, so that's just getting kicked off. And I know that one of the designers has also worked on some other ones with E&A even. Yep. That's where I last saw you. And then again, trees will be a focus for us this year in replacing some of what we lost in storms. And
when you're still catching up from the
Emerald Ash
Borer, yeah. So, I mean, you got...
Can I ask a real quick question?
Sure.
So I live in a world where we have customer expectations and dealing with all that kind of stuff. You're in a world where there's a lot of opinions and there's a lot of needs, and it must be very challenging to have to balance all that. And can you give us a little insight on how you deal with that? And because there is a lot that has to be moving, and how do you deal with that?
We trust partners because we are not the ones that know how to do the grading or the main work. The city we trust. We are very transparent and honest because we are truly not the ones doing the work. The city helps oversee that, and we basically work for the donors and trying to protect the funds and use them the way they're supposed to. And so it's a lot of trust and a lot of transparency and a lot of patience. It gets trying at times, though.
Yeah, for sure.
So at E&A, we do a lot of park projects, too. And I want to say that there's more back and forth on park projects than on a lot of building projects. Because there's so many people that are emotionally invested in these parks that...
That's probably the key, the emotional investment that people feel to very certain things. We have an organization where we have lots of voices, and balancing that and collaborating is, to me, one of the fun parts of it. So
yeah, and there, I think a lot of people's mindset is, the city would, the city should, the city will, and really for the amount of staff, it's like 1.62 people per park to maintain the entire park. It's not realistic. So what we want to create awareness for people of saying, if you drop that trash, chances are Mike D or whatever needs to pick it up. You pick it up. Like, just parks are important. It's like the Indian with the tear. Everyone needs to take care of them. Everyone
we own
needs
them,
to support
right? I mean, they're ours,
yeah.
And we need to take ownership, and just like we would with our own homes and or whatever.
Yeah, because there are just humans behind doing their best, trying their best.
Well, one final question before we wrap this up. How do people get involved with the Omaha Parks Foundation?
That's a great question. So, as I just said, even in your local park or green space, if you would even help, sweep the sand into the playground or things, just the small things that takes a community, and being an ambassador or champion for the parks. There is a volunteer program through the Parks Department called the VIP, Volunteer in Parks. And so we're always looking for assistance. It can be anywhere from 5 to 30 people going at parks in need and doing cleanups. We have a mini grants program. So if you are involved in one of the parks and rec spaces that you'd like to see an improvement, we ask that citizens write for that. It's empowering the citizens to take action in their own spaces. We also fund junior scholarships if people want to contribute and underwrite kids learning how to swim or go to day camp. We do that. And then we also have a Tee It Up for Omaha Parks each year. And it'll be September 19th at Benson Golf Course. And we'd love to have people participate in that because the money goes right back into the park system that they enjoy every day.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Tiffany. We're going to take our middle of the show break now. When we come back, we'll talk about the Noddle Company Project of the Week Spotlight. You're listening to Grow Omaha on KFAB.
You didn't choose
It's really good.
Thanks.
I forgot the 11.
I've got a lot to say in such a small amount of time. I hope it made sense.
I know, I was thinking a few other things that I was going to ask, and then I was like, I guess he's over here going.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, there is a lot, and I can say this since we're not on. You're only as strong as your weakest link, and sometimes it is just.
How do you deal with?
You're not giving me enough attention. I think this needs more attention. Do you
From
don't?
people,
Yeah. So,
like in the community?
yeah. How do you?
Well, we're separate from the city.
So you don't wear it. You just.
Frequents the Benson Community Center quite a lot. I'm very happy.
Have
with
you
what
been
I
there
see.
recently?
I was there last Wednesday.
Okay, isn't it looking nice?
It's looking very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we've gotten to a point with the foundation where we are able to fund additional, so like when they got into that ceiling, they needed some new electrical, which it's not in their budget, they didn't have a plan for 25, so we were able to step in and say, it makes sense, the ceilings are open, so we paid for the electrical out of our unrestricted, and then the ceiling tiles and all that new stuff. So yeah, the exterior, they still need to put the new awning on and paint the doors. But yeah, it's coming out beautifully. I just hope they bring like reading
No, it looks good.
programs and
On behalf of Omaha Kunstfechtens, I thank you, and we all thank you. So
No, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
we're just happy to have our locker room looking a lot better now. So
Down at
yeah,
Benson?
at the Benson Community Center.
That was in the plan to redo the locker rooms, but then that got scratched.
Yeah.
It is what there's a lot of other needs. Like
That's like a last thing. I mean, that's more of a nicety just for.
But I know exactly what you're talking about. Just take a thing of bleach down there.
Yeah. We do it every day, or we do it every time we go in. So.
And do you do fencing, or what do you do there?
Yeah, I do HEMA.
Oh, okay.
So historical European martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tyler Sigmund is our club head.
And so Paula retired. Her last day was
and you were
yesterday.
talking
And Tommy will be the new one. I like Tommy very much.
Yeah, I never met either of them. So
Oh, okay.
I'm just a club member. I'm not one of the. I'm not Tyler or Rolf. So they're the two that kind of run the joint.
How much time?
Okay.
But
is there a countdown anywhere that I can see?
we got
next break's at 50.
Next break will be around 47 or so.
47, and if we run it a little bit long,
Technically, we're supposed to take it about 43 or 45, but I usually let Jeff go. So.
Because then we just talk about the lightning round stuff and.
Oh. Thank you. I've got mine out there.
I don't know
I'll
if
grab it.
there's ever anything we need to. I wouldn't mind connecting though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, yeah, and I can talk forever, but like the park score, we need to update this, but Omaha got a 23 out of 100 for investment in our park score, which is a third party. So this is what we had come up with like last year, and we're gonna tweak it. And then we did a how we compare to other cities around us.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so as you can tell, we are the lowest.
Is this something you're putting out, or?
So this is something that we.
Just internal.
No, I like so. Last year I talked to whoever I could because again we started this basically 4 years ago from scratch, and so Kiewit, Chesterman, Coca-Cola, and Woodman Life signed on. They were like our first three. So it's just it's for businesses that want to support in some way. Like E&A, they supported this last year for the first time, which is wonderful because then we can put it back in the
See, it would help if we know that Chesterman, we do big business at Chesterman.
Yeah.
To be able to say, hey, we appreciate what you're doing on the
Oh,
first.
yeah.
Like those kind of little things can go.
Yes.
Then immediately they go, oh, we're not throwing money away. And no, you're not.
Yeah.
You know, you're-
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, I mean, Omaha's, and I think the education is coming forward, and a master plan was just done, and that information will come out. But
I just realized that I already read the novel company Project Spotlight in the newsroom.
Let SEI help manage your business with cloud.
More time to talk.
Is there anything we can talk about in Exarban?
I can mention
To set up a free consultation.
Ask about our projects and what we're doing, and then maybe going to. I do want to get into the restaurant thing because Roma does such a good job on announcing restaurants. And that might be fun to go into.
No, I do think we should talk about what we discussed yesterday with the restaurant, the tough times for restaurants. I was gonna say, you can hang out for the rest of the show, or you can sneak out either way.
I will probably hang out up there and listen a little bit, and then I've got to pick up Molly from a sleepover at 10.
Okay.
So, yes.
I've got a 4-year-old's basketball game at like 9:30 out now.
At
What
when?
time?
9:30 or something.
10:30?
So like right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sounds to me like you're not going to make it.
No, I'm not. It's a 4-year-old's basketball game.
I'm sure it's worth it.
I'll be at a 7-year-old one at 11:30.
Oh my gosh.
Are you okay if I bring this down just a little touch more?
Yeah, no, make it comfortable for you. That's fine. You're a little taller than most people I deal with, so.
Yeah, the feed last night from Denver was horrible.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like very. They just didn't. It was jerky and.
Tired of
30
walking
seconds,
into
right?
a dull and uninspiring
Last
workspace? Want to inject some life into your environment? Look no further than Ren's.
So we'll take the next break at 45, 47, somewhere around there. That way it'll give you enough time. And then I'll let you know.
And that, so this is 42:02 at 45. I know a break's coming up.
I don't know if that's accurate or not. Use that clock over there.
Got it.
Boost morale or
All right, here we go, guys.
We've got got you covered. Check us out today at RENZ.com. That's RENZE.com.
All right, open starting.
Listen to News Radio 1110 KFAB anywhere, anytime on your free iHeartRadio app. All your music, radio, and podcasts.
Welcome back to Girl Omaha. Today we're sponsored by Dingman's Collision Center, a great local collision center run by a couple really nice guys. Dingman's currently has 4 locations in the Omaha metro area. Going to be announcing a 5th pretty soon. I worked with them on the 5th. It's going to be a great new Southwest Omaha location. And also, I have not had to use Dingman's nearly as much as Trenton does. Apparently, he's a frequent flyer.
I always get a kick out of whatever car Trenton's going to meet me with when I'm having lunch or something with him.
But apparently he has to meet a lot of them at Dingman's too. So we're also sponsored by Cheer Athletics, the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym. In my nervousness a little bit ago, I accidentally read the Noddle Company Spotlight as part of the news segment. So my bad. But we're going to make up for it because Bill Barstow is my co-host today, and Bill has a couple businesses in Exarban Village, which is probably one of Noddle's premier, or at least most well-known developments in Omaha.
You know, it's really hard to believe that Exarban Village has been around as long as it is. You know, we're pushing 14, 15 years since we opened Exarban Cinema, and we also have Backlot Tap House there as well on Zone 5, which is not technically the Noddle piece, but, you know, to watch, you know, the original plans for Exarban, what that was, and to watch it come into fruition. And, you know, our company has some core values that we work by, and it's very, you can see it in other places. And our core values that we try to live by, and we try to do all our business and everything by is, but we do these 5 things. Number 1, you got to surround yourself with good humans, right? Good humans make everything easier, and things aren't always smooth, and sometimes they get bumpy, and you got to make sure that you've got good humans around you. We also like to make sure that we can do hard stuff, and then we say it a little bit differently, but I'll spare that because we're on the radio. And then you got to figure it out. There's trust. You got to have trust in and out and up and down inside your organization, the people you work with, and then that moment in time. And I bring all that up because I think Exarban Village is a perfect example where a lot of those things come together, right? You've got a lot of diverse partners all trying to make Exarban Village work, and I think the work that Noddle Companies has done as the master developer, if I'm saying that correctly, but you know, they've done amazing work. You know, Lisa Bachman in some of the work she does in putting things together. You know, sometimes it's a little unheralded, but they've done amazing work in Exarban Village. Our side on Zone 5, John Hughes is somebody that was committed to us being there in the early days and all the things it takes. A lot of fun to be around people who see things in a certain way, and I think we could all agree that Exarban Village is just a diamond.
It does really take a true leader to make something like Exarban Village happen, because there's a lot of mixed-use developments proposed, and then once all the players get involved and things, you know, the money starts coming to the table, things kind of can go in a different direction pretty fast. And Exarban is not only kind of held to what they started out to, you know, what their plan was, but they've also grown. I mean, the original plan didn't have, you know, a 19-story HDR headquarters in it. And
I was driving through. I was driving south down 67th this past weekend for a hockey game, and I started looking, and I had a guest in the car with me, and I said, "You don't realize, but just a few years ago, and maybe 15 is not a few anymore, but." To think of all the pieces that weren't there when we opened up at Exarban Cinema. I mean, It was us and then Noddle's building across the way. You know, you didn't have the Blue Cross Blue Shield. You didn't have the hotels. We didn't have Baxter Arena. We didn't have the park completed. You didn't have the parking garages. So it's a lot of fun to, you know, the show's about development, and to sit there. I think people who get to work in the world that you get to work in is really exciting. You get to watch things bubble up and become something, and it's. We're the dumb guys that open up and sell popcorn, but I think to watch all the things develop around us when it becomes complementary is really enjoyable.
You know, a place like Exarban really needs programming, and I know Noddle does a lot of work programming, making sure that, you know, the park is always active with events, and then over on the north side of HDR, that Sunny's area, things like that really just draw people in instead of just being another neighborhood shopping center.
You know, it sometimes gets overlooked maybe by some, I don't know, but, you know, Exarban Cinema draws well over 250,000 guests a year. And if you think about, and it's not coming for free events, it's not coming for whatever, these are people who have committed to coming to Exarban Village and spending hard-earned money. And so we're always very proud of what Exarban Cinema pulls into. Certainly the industries that we're kind of associated with on the theater side had our challenges through the pandemic, and then some strikes and some other things that disrupted our supply lines. But as we, you know, what is the next version of what's that going to be in Exarban Village? I think you're 15 years in now, so you're going to start seeing some newer people coming in and out of the village, you know, all kinds of restaurants and services and things like that. So I think it's going to be another exciting time to watch what Exarban Village wants to be next. And certainly this version has Baxter Arena and the park and all the, you know, the legacy work that Jay Noddle's group and the people and our people and John Hughes and all these guys and other developers that have all put that together, including the university partner, which is obviously a huge piece of that.
Yeah, and I think the university part just fits so well down there.
It really does. I mean, I like to tell people that, you know, imagine having a business where, you know, literally kitty corner across the way there is, you know, 1,500, whatever the number is, you know, students living on campus and learning how to use all the pieces and parts that are Exarban Village.
You know, unfortunately, Omaha has had quite a few restaurant closings in the last several months. As a restaurant owner, what are some of the challenges you see kind of facing the restaurant industry these days?
This is going to be a long one, but I think we should focus on the positive, and that is there's an awful lot of new concepts opening everywhere, really exciting concepts. We've seen a ton of them from some restaurant groups opening up down in the old market. I take the other side of it. I think there's just a time where things are being right-sized in all kinds of ways. And we're not experts by any stretch of the imagination other than, you know, we do have informed opinions. We operate theaters and restaurants in multiple states and different developments in different areas, and we get to see a lot of different things. And when I talked about our core values of being around good humans and trust and things like that, I think anybody that's going to go into business, especially in the restaurant business, you got to be around all the pieces. You got to have convictions about what you're doing, right? And making sure you're with the right people in the right area that are surrounded by great parks and other things where people want to be. But then you also have the business side of this thing, and that is in the restaurant industry, there is a pie. And it's a math problem, right? And if labor costs X and my supplies cost X, and I'm committed to using the best supplies and the best ingredients, you've got to have movement in there. And you know, your rent, your cost of occupancy is also very, very important. So I think what we're seeing right now, as some expenses have skyrocketed, we find that in certain parts of the country where we do business, Omaha is not particularly competitive for wages for employees. It's wages are lower in other parts of the country than they are here, and when you have that really low unemployment rate, that's not always a good thing. And so you've got to find ways to make that all work, and there's only so many things you can do on your supplies. So unfortunately, sometimes your cost of occupancy, your landlord is somebody you better be in partnership with, because if an area changes and develops and things happen, you have to have an open dialogue with them about that. I think you know, from another partner that we all have is our banking partners and that kind of thing. And, you know, there's not a lot of banks that are really willing to loan in the restaurant business right now, and the theater business for sure. So you have to have really good relationship with everybody around you. We've been fortunate enough to have great banking partners over the years in Omaha. I think back to Core Bank being somebody who took a chance on us many, many years ago. Lots of different banking partners that you can work with. You just got to, again, I'll take it right back, you got to surround yourself with good humans. But I think we're seeing a resurgence in the restaurant business. I don't see it the other way. I really don't.
So you're thinking more of a right sizing or
We use that word a lot. You have to right size every deal you're in. The world has changed dramatically. We see changes in things like late night guest movement. It's not quite what it once was. So then you restaurant guys might say, well, then I'm going to move in to try and pick up a lunch or a brunch. Well, now, you and I could probably name, I don't know how many different restaurant concepts have opened in the last 5 years that are just restaurant or, breakfast and brunch. Yeah. So, I love the challenge of the pieces, and we surround ourselves. again, I want to be the dumbest guy in the room at all times. So my son Michael is kind of running our company right now, but we have Dan Watts from Culinary, Tyler Schaefer as a sommelier. We've got marketing help with Andrea Olson. We got events with Liv Prosser. We try to put together a team that can do all these things better than one person could.
That's great. And then the one thing that we talked about when we were preparing for this show was just having flexibility and not, this is the way we've always done it.
You better figure out a way. I tell a story, and if you think about an old school restaurant that might have had 5 or 6 hosts, running the front desk, and you've got a couple of food runners. Well, in the world of wages that we're looking at right now, that if I've got 4 or 5 hosts at total cost of that guest might be, or that employee might be $15-20 an hour. Do the math. You've got to figure out a way to be efficient there and embracing all the things we do. We've got a concept, Backlot Tap House, which is kind of a fast casual, but it's a little more. We run a very low wage model there, which allows us to do things with food and beer and other things to make us better. So you just got to find the right mix that works for you. And there's a million different models. There are people doing far better than us and have figured out their things. But I think we all need to give a break. And the idea that such and such is closing, it must be, causation and correlation. It's not always what you think it is. I don't know a restaurant guy that isn't working their butt off to find the answer. And sometimes you can't find the answer. So, some open, some close. I think we're just watching a new equilibrium developing.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.